A lot of people are trying to create content with AI right now. Most people can't create it to save their life. In fact, they pretty much suck at it. I would say 90% of everybody online is creating it's trash.
So if you don't want the stresses of actually running a company, all the shit involved with it, maybe you
Mhm.
just train yourself in a skill that's in high demand. Do you want to
That's
be a
what
billionaire, man? Would you want to be a billionaire?
I think I'd want to be a really rich millionaire. I want to be really successful, but I don't want the hassle of being really successful.
Business over drinks. Business over drinks. This is Dave and Terng. This is business over drinks.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Over Drinks. We got a real special one for you, Dave.
Hey, everybody. Yes, we do have a big special one for you. Don't forget to like us on all channels because we need it. We need to look impressive to people. We don't. And this is all Tong's fault. So please like us in every channel.
When Dave says it, we all know that he means it's a racial thing. But all right, carrying on, moving on. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's not. Let's jump into it. So Dave and I have actually got a really interesting topic because we've been discussing this for a while, and I think this came up in it was a genuine conversation that we had. It wasn't over drinks, unfortunately, because we're not in the same country anymore. But very similar topic and scenario where we kind of talked about things and we kind of delve deeper into it. We thought this would make a great podcast if we actually kind of had a conversation around it. So we decided to bring it to you guys. And the topic is really around what you would set up as a business if you were starting something right now. For me, from the context of if my entire business, which is in PR, kind of failed and fell to the ground, what would I do at the start? And for Dave, if he actually got up from like being a lazy bum and actually did something, what would he do right from to start a business?
Exactly.
Di-
What business would you start? What business would you start, Tong?
Me, oh man, that's interesting because I think if Sync failed, right? If my company failed and everything went to shit, the first thing I would do is contemplate killing myself, right? Once I get
That
beyond
was
that, hey,
damn.
we got to go on an emotional roller coaster, man. This podcast is not all about shits and giggles. This is about some
It's a
real
very
stuff.
serious podcast, but it's actually a true thought that some people would think. I'd say.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. During COVID, when I was like lying in the shower place crying, right? I'm not gonna lie and say that it never crossed my mind, but like really, really, really briefly, because I love myself too much. But like thoughts like that kind of like do cross your mind, especially when there's a lot of stress, a lot of strain, and when they're like your back's against the wall. But what I would really look at, if I was to be honest with myself, is I think I try to understand what people and what businesses are doing with AI right now, and not Microsoft, not OpenAI, not those massive conglomerates that have their own AI tools and their own custom built GPTs and all that stuff, and LLMs, large language models. What I would actually look at is what your SMEs, what your small businesses, what your startups are doing with AI and how I can step in and kind of help them with certain things. From something as simple as prompt engineering, maybe marketing through AI, maybe training AI training from execution standpoint. There are things that we can do because I really see this as industry that's going to evolve so quickly. People aren't going to be able to build those courses and those structures around it effectively enough. So they're going to need people to kind of step in, keep abreast of what's going on, and then be able to kind of execute for companies that really want to do things. I mean, that's one thing I'd look into. Really, I'd try and become an expert in that aspect of it. So it's execution AI, not being an AI engineer, not being a coder or developer, but really how do I step in and help companies translate the amazing tools that are out there right now and translate them into actual real world applications and outcomes that they would actually want.
So you'd be like an aggregator or a consultant when they want to automate or translate certain things with or strengthen certain things with AI. You'll be the guy who like, yeah, this is the solution. This is what you need to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? So, a lot of people are trying to create content with AI right now, right? So, how do you create a great blog? How do you create a great, like, a web page with that? Most people can't create it to save their life. In fact, they pretty much suck at it. If you really look at the AI content, then I would say 90% of everybody online is creating it's trash. Yeah.
Hmm.
My thing is, if you actually know what you're doing, you can create really, really good content that requires a little bit of editing, but it is comparable to a mid-level copywriter right now if you know what you're doing with AI. Even tools as simple as ChatGPT, all the way up to actual customized tools that really work with creating high quality educational marketing, professional content.
Sounds like you're doing a pitch right now. Sounds like
I
something you want
am,
to do
I
already.
am. I'm pretty excited about it, man. I think it's something that we want to incorporate more aggressively into what we do. It's just that balancing that ability to be able to create, be able to actually create great content without having AI be the only aspect of it. And, that's
Mm.
kind of conquering laziness, I think, for a lot of people. Like, how do you get them to make AI a step within a multi step process?
Yep.
What about you, man? What would you do? What would you do if you managed to get up, like, before noon every day and, like, do something? What would you
Firstly, that's impossible.
do?
No, seriously though. I think firstly, I'd like to speak for anyone who's listening who's thinking about starting a business, because there's a lot of people I speak to who are thinking about starting something, and they just go off something they see online and think, okay, like for example, they're a trained accountant or an engineer, but they see some influencer online talking about starting an e-commerce store. So they
Oh yeah,
feel like
drop
they
shipping.
drop
Drop shipping.
shipping, or they see some course about becoming a copywriter, and then they think that's a business they need to start when they've got these skills that they can sell already. So I might yeah, I would pick something very boring. It depends on what kind of income level you're aspiring to have as a business owner. If you do actually do want to be a business owner, right? So let's say you're happy with just earning an income of $100,000 a year, but you want to be your own boss. Then you probably don't need to do a startup and get funding and investments and stuff like that. You can probably just, if you're trained in accounting, you can just start an accounting firm. So many people need good accountants. Like I can all my friends and I can't recommend any good accountants who are proactive with things. If you just step in and say, I'm that accountant, you can probably make a decent income for yourself. It's really boring. It's not a buzzword, but you can probably do pretty well. If you want to be a billionaire, because that's also a buzzword, you got to ask yourself, do you really want to be a billionaire first? Or is it something deeper that you want, like recognition? Or is it something you just want people, your peers to respect you? Then maybe billionaire isn't something you need to chase. You don't need some amazing startup. You can be extremely rich doing very boring things. So that's just one suggestion for people who are thinking about starting a business. You don't need to follow what's online. You can probably sell your current skill. Like you and I, we started off in PR, me in marketing. So I sold those services, and I was able to build with two other people a pretty decent sized business. It didn't end up for us, for me and another partner. Well, Phil is still there; he's still running it, but we were able to grow pretty quickly and do well, even though it wasn't a buzzword. You know, so what I would do is something I learned running that business, which is I found that managing people and doing all of that stuff wasn't really something I wanted to do in my life. So I just thought, let me carve out what I want to do, which is be independent but still earn a decent income, and somehow develop my dream creative stuff, which doesn't earn money right away. So I got a handful of consulting clients, private consulting clients who I respect and I work really well with, and we've worked together for years, who've supplied me with enough income while I pursue developing this cartoon series I'm working on. So that is what I would do. That's what I'm doing right now. So, and that doesn't require capital. That doesn't require working with AI or anything that's trending at the moment. It's just boring stuff, but it's getting in the cash flow while I work on developing this cartoon series of mine. So that's what I would do, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Okay, man, that's really interesting, dude. Because I think that's a different way of looking at it, right? Because everybody tries to sell like the hustle culture and, like, that how do you make $1 million, like, in your sleep, that
Yeah,
type of thing, that type of concept. When, I mean, you know this, I know this, anyone start a business know this, right? It's
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 not
just mostly a shit ton of work.
it's not easy
Everyone's
as
working
easy as
it
they
out.
sell it. Like start an
It's
e-commerce
not even
website.
close.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even close. It's really, really, really busy, man. Like, doing e-commerce, and first of all, I hate the drop shipping model so much.
Mm.
The margins are so thin, and then the amount that you spend on acquisition has to, like, you have to be able to match that between your profit margin, your cost of acquisition, the incidentals, the overheads that you have with running a business, your shit, something as simple as fees that you pay to the either the platform you pay to Shopify, right?
Mm.
It's kind of crazy. Again, everyone just seems to think that it's so easy. Like, you can make $1 million in like 2 months. I
And
wish it
be,
was that easy.
and even if you are a millionaire, it doesn't mean. I mean, our company was making millions in revenue, but doesn't mean we had million in cash. Being a millionaire or even a billionaire doesn't necessarily always mean you have that in cash. Doesn't mean you're financially wealthy. It just means you have asset rich. You can perhaps use that capital. You can use that to get loans for bigger things, or you can sell your shares, but a lot of the time, it doesn't necessarily mean you're rich either. You could feel much richer with a high paying job. Let's say AI, for example. If you trained yourself in AI or cybersecurity, you can get a like I saw a tweet. I don't know if it's true or not, but Google was paying some people up to $10 million a year because the amount of talented AI people is so the pool is so small, but the demand is so high. So they're willing to pay a lot of money. So if you don't want the stresses of actually running a company, all the shit involved with it, maybe
Hmm.
just train yourself in a skill that's in high demand.
Yeah. No, that's
Depending on, I mean, you and I probably
yeah,
wouldn't.
that's really difficult because I was thinking, right, like, what would it take to become an expert in AI engineering and being a developer in the field, right? I was just thinking, oh, many, many, many years
That's
of
true.
learning, followed by having a ton of skill. It's
Yep,
going to be really hard.
that's true. We can also steal an idea from South Park, right? Everyone's worried about AI, but then the tradespeople, like the plumber, things like that, no one could do. Like AI can't replicate that yet. So all the board in the West anyway, if you're a tradie, you're in demand right now. There's such a shortage of it. In Asia, I wouldn't want to be a tradesperson, but in the West, you can ask for a shit ton of money because the demand for a lot of aspects of building and construction is so high, and there's such a short supply of it. It's not exciting, it's not sexy, but then the cash would be there.
Oh man, I'll speak about Singapore specifically because I think in Southeast Asia and certain Asian markets, maybe it's pretty shitty. But if you run like an AC repair and business or something like that, if you run a plumbing business, even like fixing specific things, right? Windows, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
You can make a ton of money because it is so difficult to find trustworthy tradespeople or people who aren't that busy. Because
Yep.
Singaporeans want things like done immediately.
And
If
they
I
don't
can
have the time to
find
do it, or they don't want to do it themselves, right?
No, they don't know how to do it. Like people, I'll speak from my experience here. Most people don't know how to do basic odd jobs in Singapore. Like they can't fix stuff. They can't put things together. If things break, they immediately call someone, right?
Mm.
And come and fix it. That would be another thing that I would probably want to do if I wanted to start like a full-fledged business. I'd probably start like a really simple odd job platform, not platform, sorry, like an odd job team. But
Mm.
I'll have like a bunch of young people that I train
Yep.
on how to do odd jobs and get like, because what you focus on is efficiency, you focus on quality, and you focus on specific segment of the market that really value the extras other than just fixing stuff. They want people to
Yep.
come on time. They want people to be communicative. So I'll basically build an entire process around that. That could be something else, man. We could make a lot of money from that. Is it the same in Australia?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think so because everyone complains about a shortage in skills. Like, we couldn't at some point we wanted to just someone to clean our apartment, and we were willing to pay an okay amount of money, but no one wanted to do it. No one wants to do these things anymore. It was really hard to find even cleaners. So I think there's a whole gap there. AI can't replace that yet. Robots can't do a lot of the small things that only humans can do at this point in time, anyway. They can replace content writing, but they can't replace a lot of trades
Yeah.
yet, anyway.
Well, I mean, the blue collar stuff, right? I don't think AI is ever going to disrupt that as well because they probably don't need to. That's
I
going to be
was
one of the last few things that are going to be disrupted, probably.
Elon Musk's book. They was talking about his Tesla factories, how they used to be automated, but then he stopped it because there's a lot of things as simple as moving a wrench and placing it somewhere else that robots couldn't do easily. So he had to get rid of a lot of the robots and bring back manual labor to do it.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Would you do you want to
That's
be a
what
billionaire, man? Would you want to be a billionaire?
I think I'd want to be a really rich millionaire. So not like, I make $1 million, but no, I want to be like really rich, but completely under the radar
Yep.
because I want to be really successful, but I don't want the hassle of being really successful. Because as much as I have an ego, because I think actually I do have a pretty big ego, my ego is not that big. I don't, I'd measure the trade off
Mm.
on what I would have to give up if I was, always, the face of whatever it is, always kind of like in the news and like people following me and stuff. Because he's a billionaire. I'm just like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that life. First of all, I can't get that life, but I don't want that life as well.
Because even at that life, you'd have to get not people. You'd have to be pretty brutal with people, and you'd have a lot of enemies. And not only would you need security for yourself, you need for your family and your extended family too, right? Because everyone around your circle has a risk now. Yeah.
Well, I think you're specifically talking about maybe slightly more dangerous countries where they kidnap people and stuff. If I'm
You don't,
looking at more developed markets, probably not, man.
you
There's
don't think
like
it's
very little
dangerous?
risk.
Yeah, cool.
Not really, man. There are like, a number of billionaires and really well-known rich people in Singapore? They're very safe. Like, it's really, really safe. Because people are like, I want money, but they're like, there's a 99.999% chance I'll get caught before I get any
Oh yeah,
of a
Singapore.
penny.
How about America? Like you're an Elon Musk. Would your I don't know. Will your, for example, will your nephew be safe
Yeah, probably. I
from
mean, like,
stalkers and all that?
would you be safe? Would you be safe anywhere, man? That's the thing, right? I think you'd be
Yeah,
safe. I just
yeah, I
think
guess
that
so.
you just gotta be smart about it, dude.
Let's
Don't
say
flaunt your wealth, man.
someone truly does want to be a billionaire. They've psychoanalyzed themselves. What kind of business would you do that would reach that $1 billion valuation mark?
Me, I'd immediately start an AI startup.
Yeah.
Mistral is a French startup that I think they raised 100 million euros in the first 3 months of the business starting up. They didn't have a product, they didn't have a prototype, they had a business idea. And because the three guys who started with were, I believe they were former Google engineers, I could be wrong,
Hmm.
but they became a $1 billion startup 3 to 4, I think it was either 6 months or 3 months into the business starting up.
Damn, is it still
It's a
around?
French startup. Yeah, yeah. This happened maybe about 3 4 months ago, I think. That's still it. They raised over $100 million. So yeah, I would do that if I wanted to be a billionaire.
Yep.
I would learn as much as I can about AI, and I would find people who know AI but probably don't have the entrepreneurial spirit or don't know enough to start a business. Figure out if they're good enough, and then make them my partner, and then we'll go to start a business right now.
I'll probably do the same. If it was for a short, I mean, this is probably, I think it'll be like the crypto bubble or the internet bubble where a few players would remain at the end of this, but it would be a good build up and then sell. Unless you're that talented where you'll be one of you'll end up like a Chat GPT. I think a lot of these businesses will get crushed, man. I could be wrong because it feels like a bubble right at the moment.
Well, yes, it is a bubble, but my thing is, we don't know how long this bubble is going to last because the bubble could last literally years, right?
Maybe
So, a lot of people during the tech bubble got really rich, and after the tech bubble, stayed really rich.
that's true.
Like Mark Cuban became a billionaire because of the tech bubble, right? But he exited before the bubble burst.
Yeah,
He sold broadcast.com, right? So yeah, it's a thing for me. If you want to be a billionaire, you can't really think about starting a business and having a long term business goal. Your goal is to build something amazing, great, sell it,
Sell.
go public, and eventually you have to exit the business. That's the only way you make real money, when you exit.
Agreed. Yeah, I would probably. I think we were discussing this as well. I would probably do the same. Well, I
I
hope
think you
people have
can
learned
do.
a lot from this conversation.
Probably nothing. But I just thought that we'd share something interesting before Dave made it into all about how AI, how do you make $1 billion? So
No,
yeah, thanks for changing the topic, mate.
no, I think it's a good topic. Like if some people they think they want to be a billionaire, but a lot of people probably don't really. They can't. The amount of work you need to do, the amount of sacrifice you need to make. But if you do, then you probably can.
Probably do. I think we're gonna have to. I think people who are billionaires have sacrificed a lot in their life. People who are extremely wealthy have sacrificed a lot in their life. I think you can be well off, happy,
Hmm.
and on a good standing, but maybe you won't be a billionaire or like have hundreds of millions of dollars
Yeah, if you want
if you
people
don't want
to
to sacrifice.
if you want a lot of people to generally like you, then maybe
Well,
billionaire is
not
a good
even that,
topic.
man. Like you gotta sacrifice like family and stuff like that a lot of
Yeah.
times, right? All right, man. I think we've taken enough of our listeners' time with what was very honestly us rambling for the last 7 minutes. So,
Yeah.
anything else you want to share with them? Anything else you want to say?
No, just Merry Christmas, everyone. If this comes out before Christmas.
I think it'll come out before Christmas. I think we're there. I think we're there.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Cool. See everyone.
Thanks a lot and have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all our social platforms. We really need the help. Visit our website. We love seeing the numbers go up for the number of visitors we have, like because it's just my mom and Dave's mom, so we got a little
3.
bit more. Yeah, we want to make it 4. Come on, guys.
We watch it live every day.
Yeah, every day
That's all
we
we
got to
do.
count it.
That's why we're not growing.
We're not doing anything other than just
We
like,
just
come
look at it.
on. All right, everybody. Have
All
a
right.
good one, guys.
See you later.